Okay, welcome to another video. I hope you enjoyed the last one from yesterday. If you didn't, I'm gonna link it somewhere above. And today I am joined with someone who is very interesting figure to me, and that is because, as some of you know, I have a Mastodon server, I have a Matrix server, I have a lot of different like home lab services that I maintain on my own, and it's really interesting. And the reason why you're going to hear, could you introduce yourself to my viewers?
Hello everyone, I am Stefano Marinelli and I consider myself as the barista of the BSD Cafe. And the BSD Cafe is a community of BSD enthusiasts, and we try to provide services to BSD people, but not only, also to Linux people, to technology enthusiasts in general, especially the ones loving the open source ecosystem. And we do it by hosting and providing services like Mastodon, Matrix, Snack, RSS readers, and so on, so that people can be free to join our servers, to use our servers, or just to come in and learn something new about technologies, about the BSDs. But we also have Linux distribution maintainers among our users, and that's a feature, not a bug, of the BSD Cafe. So that's why I'm so happy to be here, because we have a same passion and common interest about hosting our own services and making sure that we can own our data. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you for...
Thank you for a lovely introduction. I was wondering, have you heard about SDF? You know what I'm talking about. So these guys have been hosting something similar from, I don't know, maybe 80s even. They started with shell access. But the point of why I'm heading here is because I think what they are doing and what you're doing and what basically everyone else who have the beans should be doing is take a little bit of, let's say, bread from the big tech companies and pull the natural feeling of the communication between people on the internet back to, as you said, into our own hands. Because when we participate in big tech, I will not name any of them, you know, all of them. When we participate there, we are kind of a product, you know. If either we pay something to their service, or we are used as a payment. And usually how this goes, and I apologize for dragging my introduction, usually how this goes is that they need to earn money. So that is their primary goal. They need to earn money, and the way they do that is by engagement. And the human nature tends to produce the highest amount of engagement on rage, on negativity, and it kind of feels really bad for the mental health of all of the humankind, if I can say that. And this is why I have my own Mastodon server, and this is why I host my own Matrix server, and this is why my co-talker, I'm not sure if that's a word, is doing the same. So how did you start? I mean, where did the idea come from?
I'm old enough to have seen all the stages of the internet, recent internet history. I mean, when internet started to be a part of all of us, of all our lives. And I remember the spirit of the decentralization of the early internet, like emails or the web itself. The power of the network, the reason why internet has become so popular has always been the decentralized nature of the network itself. So I'm not against using other people's services, even tech companies, but that's not the only solution we should consider when we want to be part of the internet life that today is a part of our daily life. And so the idea didn't come from a specific thing or event, but in general, by the spirit, I wanted to bring back that spirit. And as you rightly said in your introduction, SDF has been a good part of this, because SDF has been running those services for decades using NetBSD, because they found that NetBSD was the best operating system for their own services, for their own needs. And I remember many, many years ago, I was much, much younger, and I started to think about hosting services for others. And I wrote an email to the SDF team saying, could you give me some hints about that? And I would have expected them to say something like, oh no, we are doing that, just go away, we're not going to share with you our secrets. But they replied, and they just gave me a lot of hints of, you better not to do this because people will do that. Users are usually good, but be prepared that you will have problems. They were happy that someone else was trying to start something new. And I was fascinated by that spirit, the spirit of the SDF people, and they're still bringing that spirit today. So the BSD Cafe came out from the idea of saying, BSD people are great, that's a great community, open source communities are great, but sometimes we have a wonderful spirit during conferences, but we do not have, we have services, but nobody is hosting services in a decentralized, open, portable way, just using BSD systems like SDF, but not all the services. And having more services, more points is good for decentralization. So SDF is, of course, our master, but we still have many other small servers, and the BSD Cafe wanted to be one of those. And the spirit is the one of the Italian cafes called bar, which is not a place where you go to fight against others, but you go there to meet your friends, to go there to share a passion, to share some relaxing moments. So the BSD Cafe spirit is be positive, just try to build something. We're not here to destroy others. We're here to build something better or something for us, which doesn't mean it has to necessarily be better, but we have something more. And people love this because they say that they're used to the rage, the anger that, as you were saying, usually commercial platforms are pushing just to increase their revenues. While at BSD Cafe, we're rejecting that kind of ideas because we want people to be able to open their Mastodon application or just open their metrics chat or anything else and share some good moments with people that are a passion in common, which may be BSDs, but not only. So it comes from there. And the success of the project, that was totally unexpected, to be honest, because I thought, okay, but I'm nobody, so why should people care about that project? Has been incredible because people really love this. People are moving from their own instances, not their own, of course, I mean from other instances where rage and anger are still a thing, to the BSD Cafe, because they want to breathe that relaxing atmosphere and make the social moment a good moment of their day life. So that's what we're pushing. And more, we suggest people to start self-hosting their own services. And this means that people come to BSD Cafe, learn about the BSDs, learn about the services, try those services, use them, and one day they start using the BSDs and hosting those services using the BSDs. So we lose a number in our counters because that person is no more at BSD Cafe user, but is still a BSD Cafe friend because it's not that handle the spirit of the project, but the target we have to push people to really understand the importance of owning their own data. Yeah. So that's
one thing I wanted to notice is the name of your project because in Croatia we are very passionate coffee drinkers. Maybe behind Italia, but like Italy is like the pinnacle of the true mastery of coffee making, and I'm absolutely being honest here, and I have been to some bars in Croatia where I got served really good cappuccino, and I asked one of the waiters, how come in this cafe I get so good coffee and in others not so good? And he told me that his boss sent him to, how to put it, to learn this barista job in Italy, and when he returned, he was allowed to work. So that was that was a bit of an eye opener. But I generally love the naming that you chose with the overall theme of how the entire thing works, because, as you said, it's not about numbers. It's about teaching people, and maybe like children, because I'm a parent, and you want to see your child learn and go into the world. And maybe it's a bit weird comparison, but I also think that people who I teach some of my Linux knowledge, I love to see them, learn and know more than I do. Sometimes later on, and maybe they teach me something back. And the whole idea about Fediverse and the way that Mastodon works and the matrix chat works is that you can have your own instance or maybe use another one, but we still talk to each other. It is not centralized. And if I may, another thing, when I was younger, I have had really big and quite popular forum. It was the one I installed. It had like 10,000 active users, so it was really active, and a lot of moderation was invested. And later, it kind of started declining at the age when Reddit became a thing, and people started wanting centralized services for whatever reason. At the time, was really unknown to me because I never really used Reddit. It kind of never clicked to me. I never understood the reason why I would want to go to Reddit if I can go to, I don't know, if I want to, for example, recently I started participating in an Open Mandriva forum. That's a Linux distribution. They have their own forum, and you go there if you want to talk about that topic. If you want to talk about another topic, there is most probably a forum for that other topic. I don't know, Linux Mint, for example. But the decentralized nature of services that use ActivityPub protocol, like Mastodon, this is like cherry on top within the world of owning your data and being able to communicate with others on the other platforms. So that is really a huge thing. What would you say is like a challenge for you nowadays? What is it, a topic or something that makes you think this is something that needs to be improved, whether on your own side or maybe on the software side?
Well, I must say that all the Fediverse solutions are nice because they all have their pros and cons. Mastodon is fully featured. It's a beautiful solution, but has some important dependencies. So it may not be the best choice if you're using it on a low-power device. But you can then use another software like Snack, which is minimalistic, but still full of features. And the dev is a great person, very open, very careful about the users and their opinions. Or go to social or other solutions that are around, and they will still be able to talk one another. So the software ecosystem is improving in the Fediverse. In the last 2 years, we had very great improvements. So the road is quite good. The protocols are evolving, trying to solve some of the problems that arose. For example, some time ago, moving from one instance to another, especially from different softwares, were a big problem. Today, it usually works, and the situations where something goes wrong are less likely to happen. And another thing that's going fine. What's happening? I think some things that should be addressed maybe. The first one, the problem sometimes is not technical, but more ideological. People are used to social networks as places used to convey rage, anger. People are not used to talk each other, to try to understand each other. Some just connect to the social networks to attack others, to be aggressive, because it's the way they learn to do it. It's not a matter, especially people not used to all-time social networks. And so people coming to the Fediverse for the first time sometimes are a bit, what's happening here? It seems something strange, like a peaceful world. There's something missing, exactly. And this is okay. But the problem is moderation. All of this doesn't happen without a good moderation. And this sometimes is the biggest problems you have to face. If you're hosting your own instance, it's easy to tailor your experience according to your expectations, so that's fine. But if you're hosting services for people, you are the one in charge to make sure that those people will have a pleasant experience. They won't feel attacked, aggressed, or they won't have to face something very bad. And the positive atmosphere, I think that the positive atmosphere I'm trying to bring into the BSD Cafe, and all the BSD Cafe people are helping me to keep it. They're appreciating it. They share this kind of approach. Is good, because especially people living very bad times of their lives in terrible situations, diseases or wars or something like that, love to come in and just be friends of the cafe. Just friends among friends sharing a common passion. They're not the ones suffering in that specific moment. While in commercial social networks, they usually constantly pushed to their sufferings. You are that. You are in that situation. Just remember this. Just express your rage. It will generate commitment. At BSD Cafe, we're happy because a meme page is well done, because we have a new release of our favorite software, or just, hey, there's the new smartphone out there. Let's try to understand how much AI they could put in. Spoiler, nobody really loves AI at BSD Cafe, but it's okay. So yeah, things are improving, and I see a bright future for the decentralization of the social networks.
I wanted to add a little bit to this. What I learned personally with Mastodon and other services that are a part of the Fediverse, right? There sometimes is certain problem with moderation that I encountered, and this is when the moderators of other instances don't really agree with what is happening on another instance, and they just cut it out. This is their right to do so, but it kind of makes the whole Fediverse a bit smaller and a bit more lonely place when people tend to... I think it's fair if I use the word censor here, because blocking out another instance because they are expressing themselves in a different way, it may be good, it may not be good, it depends on your viewpoint. But this is something I would like to see worked on in the future, and this is not a technical problem, more like a human-to-human problem, And this is something that bothered me a little, and the way I fixed quote unquote is that I put a rule on my Mastodon instance that there is no politics on this instance, because this is the main driver of rage usually, and my instance being about video games, it doesn't really need any political discussions. So this particular scenario works for me, but not maybe for everyone else. If I remember correctly, you have a similar overarching theme in your community, but maybe a bit more loose.
Yes, we're trying to keep divisive topics out of the BSD Cafe, especially politics. It doesn't mean you cannot express your ideas. Of course, you are free to express your ideas, but the BSD Cafe is not a group, but the instances and the other services. is not a political group. So we're not here to make politics as our main topic. Yes, we can, of course, say something about some politics decisions or what's happening, but that's not the primary task. And it's easy, as you told us, to, start with politics and end up with aggressing people or single persons or groups, and we don't like that. And this approach of trying to have politics and trying to ask people to be good each other has caused me some problems of menacing the federation, so that's, cutting off, as you rightly defined it, because for some administrators, my idea of moderation is not strict enough. And for them, some of the posts made from some of our users are maybe out of their expectations. There are some software solutions that maybe are getting some attention in specific moments, but there are reasons why, both on a technical or political point of view, they're not totally accepted by other people. If someone is talking about that, many moderators expect just to cut off and block that person. I don't agree. I'm for open communication, so people can just tell each other their ideas, and I really found that this is a positive approach, as some people are promoting specific solutions, even if controversial, just out of ignorance. They don't know what's... They just found a beautiful software, they try it, it works for them, they're happy. But when a friend says, be careful, there is also this, you have to take care when using this software. Many of them, I wasn't aware of it, thank you. This thank you is the part that reinforces the community. Banning will just radicalize that person, feeling excluded from the discussion without, at their eyes, any apparent reason. So yes, one of the problems of the Fediverse is that it's true that you have the right to cut off instances you don't want. It's full of bad instances out there. So yeah, it's important to do that. But I think that open discussion is extremely important to keep the network really free. So yeah.
One of the things that I have been kind of repeating over and over, especially on my Matrix chat where we discuss these topics quite a lot, is that the way for the humanity to grow up, if I may phrase it in this way, is to have open communication and be accepting of other people's opinions. You do not have to agree with everyone. That would be stupid even. But the way that the mutual conversation works is by listening to another person, maybe waiting for your turn, then expressing your own opinions, and often, if the heads are cool enough, you will come to maybe not even compromise, maybe even a solution that is good for the both parties. And this is something that people, I feel, forgot how to do on the internet, and I personally think it's a good thing to say that I would blame companies that thrive financially on making people more aggressive, dumber, less thinking with their head, less critical thinking. And I really think Fediverse as maybe not even Fediverse, but in general, decentralized, privately owned social media, I think it has a very good chance of bringing people back on track into relearning how to use critical thinking, because there is very rarely a reason to be angry on the internet. But as you all know, there is always a lot of anger, and a lot of people just, get the what do you call the body the reaction to clicks and views, and oh nice, I have 100 views more because I did something dumb and I offended someone intentionally, and I'm gonna do more of that because that brings me more views, and maybe X will pay me for that. But it doesn't It doesn't really feel like a natural way to do. And one of the things, I apologize, one of the things that I kind of enjoy on my instances and on my Matrix server is that I can just go and speak my mind, and everyone understands. Even when I switch to sarcasm, everyone laughs at me, and it's a good, atmosphere overall. There is no need for people to get offended automatically because someone said something that the other guy doesn't like, the other girl doesn't like, and that's how it goes. One of the other things that I wanted to discuss, maybe a bit of a technical nature. How do you handle all of the servers? As I'm aware, you have many servers. Personally, I have just a couple, and it's already very stressful at the times because I really want everything to continue working. How do you do that? From the technical point?
Well, I'm a system administrator as a daily job, so I'm doing that for living. So I've been doing it for many years. So it's quite easy for me to just add some more servers and manage them. But the BSD Cafe infrastructure is simple, or relatively simple actually, just because all over the years I learned that when you keep things simple, they will be more stable and more reliable, especially when upgrading them. And it's beautiful to do fancy stuff, overcomplicate stuff just for sake. I'm passionate about technology, so for me, doing something new is wow. But this will create technical debt over the time. So managing the BSD Cafe means just managing some services. Divided, I'm using the BSDs, not because Linux is not a good tool to do that. Of course it is. Maybe it's more supported, more documented, but we can do it in another way. So that's why, and one of the reasons why I support the BSDs. We have Linux, it's great, but we also have the BSDs, the Illumos operating systems, Illumos based. So why should we always and every time use one single platform? We have alternatives, let's use them. Monoculture is bad in the IT world. So the services of the BSD Cafe are, yes, I use some services, but the most important ones are just two servers, which actually are two virtual machines. One is a very small 3.29 euros per month Hetzner VM at the moment, and this is doing the reverse proxy and the router of the entire infrastructure. And the larger VM is hosted in a virtual machine inside a physical server I'm managing, powered by FreeBSD. So the virtualization platform is Beehive, and Beehive is extremely efficient and lightweight. And that FreeBSD virtual machine is divided in jails, which is the FreeBSD way of containerizing services. So each service has its jail, but actually a service may have more than one jail. My Mastodon instance has 4 jails, one for each service: Redis, Mastodon itself, Postgres, the Redis cache in another jail. And this makes things easier, because in case I need to just upgrade Redis because there's a security upgrade, I can just use and upgrade those 2 jails without affecting all the other jails or the other services. And this ensures that the uptime will stay higher, because each service has its own box. Linux people are used to this using Docker or other solutions, so it's something you can totally understand. And we don't need to overcomplicate stuff. We need servers, we need services, we need a place to store data, and things will work on themselves. Having a tech community is good, because in case something should not, I would not say break, but maybe not behaving in the proper way, someone will send me a message and say, I've noticed that that service is slow, or that service is giving a 502, or has been, glitchy from the other country I'm visiting now. And so they give me a hand to spot the problems, so I can just go deep and understand what's wrong there. So yes, just mostly composed by those two servers, and it's not that complicated. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that whoever from my viewers is watching carefully at this part, most of you will be technical people. So could you teach me more about FreeBSD jails? Because I have read, honestly, I don't know too much about it. I have read a little bit, but how do you, for example, you said Redis is in one jail, and when the time comes for the upgrading, how do you do that, and what does it entail from?
The FreeBSD jails are the first, kind of containerization of the modern operating systems. It inspired the Illumos zones, and Linux containerization came a long time after the FreeBSD jails. And the FreeBSD jails are a way to separate environments in a way that is the kernel is totally aware of the fact that it can run different jails. While Linux has some layers added to create this kind of containerization, FreeBSD jails are native. So each process belongs to a jail. And so jails are some sort of light VMs, but running the same kernel. But since the kernel is aware of the fact that processes are running into a jail, its overhead is 0. So the good part is that the host itself considers itself a jail, the jail 0. So the first jail of the system. And other jails would just have each process with a jail number. So they know, and the kernel knows, which process can talk to which other, and and which environment it's using, and so. So creating jails is like creating lightweight VMs. They have their own IP addresses. They have their own bridges, or a single bridge, or more than one, just to make sure that all the jails can connect to each other. And the very good thing is that I can just log in into that jail, both using login command or SSH, if active. And you can just stop the service, upgrade it as you would do, for example, in Debian with APT. We have PKG on FreeBSD, but more or less it's doing the same job. So you can just get there, PKG upgrade, restart the service or restart the jail itself, and that's fine. So it's working. So using jails is one of the best ways to make sure that containerization works on FreeBSD without having the overhead of an entire virtual machine.
I must confess, now you got me interested in learning more about jails, because overall I thought it was about, like more like Docker, but now I see it's something like a mesh, maybe not a mesh of everything because it came before everything, but it feels more like a VM with 0 overhead because it's running native, right? So with virtual machines, I have the full freedom. I'm talking now about Linux. With virtual machines, I have the full freedom to make a different host, doing different things, different packages, different upgrades, different everything. But it does come with some overhead. For example, if it's you have different levels of virtualization, and with one of them you can get near native CPU performance, but not everything is fully native performance. It just cannot be 100%. But you're explaining that with jails you pretty much get best of both worlds, right? Okay, that's actually something that you may see on my channel very soon, because I just love testing new things, and I apologize for not knowing this up until today, but that's why we're here to learn from each other, and this sounds like something that I really want to try. One of the things that I was rolling in my head for a while is that I was thinking about moving some of my services to OpenBSD, And the reason why I came to this conclusion is I am like a solo administrator at the moment, because my services are small-ish in nature and not too many people are using it. So of course it doesn't make too much sense to pay people to do things in my name, especially because I enjoy doing this. But sometimes things could happen while I am at work, and I really cannot afford going, into my private hobbies while I'm at work. And this would maybe create some downtime. Maybe some malicious actor try to tease me or something by showing me how he found some problem with my systems. So from that perspective, I started appreciating the whole idea behind how OpenBSD is created, and that is, in short sentences, as simple as possible, and the code is written as in a way that the security is first and foremost. So even if it means losing out on many modern features, but they will focus on security and just security. So that's what you basically get with OpenBSD. I don't know how big of a difference is between FreeBSD and OpenBSD, but the accent on security is so high on OpenBSD is that I really want to give it a try. So what is your opinion on maybe using, I think you said FreeBSD, right, for your two servers. What is your opinion on maybe using some OpenBSD or maybe some NetBSD for your future services?
I'm using all the BSDs actually. For bsd.cafe, mainly FreeBSD, but also OpenBSD and NetBSD. But for my daily job, I'm using all the BSDs. And I think that they all have their advantages, pros. I'd not say cons, maybe they're best suited for something. Yeah. So choosing the best BSD for a specific job is something that only experience will teach you. So I think there's only one way to fully understand which BSD is serving you better for that specific task, and it's trying them. So I'd suggest you to try them all. Take your time. The BSD family is here, ready to help you with, requests or just asking for help, and I'm sure you won't regret it.
Okay, thank you. I have actually already joined one of the BSD cafe rooms on Matrix, and I was warmly welcomed, so that already felt nice. And with this, I think we are going to round it up, and thank you very much for being here with me. And if we can persuade any one of you to maybe give BSDs a try, maybe ping our friend here on his own channels, Mastodon, Matrix, wherever you like. I'm going to link all of their BSD cafe links down below in this video, so you can find it easily. And if you want to talk with me about my progress with BSD, you know where to find me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to meet you in person, to share this time together, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about the BSD Cafe and about the BSDs here to all your wonderful viewers. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.